Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about a stupid topic that is Neom the Line City. So let's dive right into it. So what is the Neom scenario? Well, it's the city of future and it's hyper stupid, hyper dumb, and I'm not even exaggerating. That's the weird part about it. I'm not even exaggerating a little bit. Now, it came from a mind of a prince. That should give you enough warning right there, because it's not from an engineer, not from a scientist, not from a social engineer. It's just from a prince who never knew about anything about real hard working people. So that should be a first red alert. And it's made out of CGI and magic. CGI and magic that does not even exist at this point in time, and it's running on hyper hype. What does that mean? I will explain that in economics part, but think of it this way. Hyperloop was a scam. Flat out, every system level engineers were like, dude, it's a scam. Now you're like, what's the difference between engineer and system level? Here's the engineers are people who do a job. If you pay them, they will work. Meaning, people working in Hyperloop 1, if like, hey, here's your salary, will you work for this? It's like, I don't care what you want me to work on, I'll just work on it. It's as simple as that. You pay them, they work. System level engineer's job is like, is it financially viable? Is it something that I can integrate into a national infrastructure while improving the GDP, while improving the public mobility and all that jazz? That's system level. That's why like there are two different people. So do not ever follow, oh, engineers are working on it. Again, engineers will work on SLS. It's stupid, but they will work on it because they're getting paid for it. People will work on dumb projects like solar roadway or whatever have you. Thousands of bad products they will work on simply because they are getting paid for it. It's like, bro, I gotta feed myself. I don't care what you are developing. So it's running on hyper hype, where it's like there will not be any cars, there will be somehow trees, somehow 500 deep, well, 500 meter, I'm not even sure that there are any actual water well that are that deep. So somehow you're going to have something that is 500 meter deep, and somehow you're going to have enough sunlight there that you're going to have plantation there. Wow. So this is what we are talking about. Let's just set the mood. And it's supposed to be 170 kilometers long, 200 meters wide, 34 square kilometer, and it should be 500 meters tall. Damn. So what is this line? Well, this line is if somebody took hundreds of years of growth, organic development of every city. It's organic, meaning you don't control it. You can guide it, like governments do try to guide it. For example, let's say they will create some attractions in this certain area, and that will allow city to come around it. But it will happen organically, and it will happen over time. It will not happen. It will take its sweet time. And it has happened with every city that is old, be it Delhi, be it Calcutta, be it New York, be it Tokyo, whatever have you. These are something that grew over time, over centuries. And you take all that knowledge, all that wisdom that we have learned the hard way, and you just like, toop, throw it all away, because you can make it into a straight line. No, you can't. Physics does not allow you to do that. You cannot just like take this and fold it up. Yeah, that's not how it works. That flat out, that's not how it works. And somehow you have to fit everything in 200 meter width. Somehow. Like this puppy is 200 meter wide. How the heck you gonna fit that many things here? I'm like genuinely curious. Like, did any, and not to mention, this is so slim and this is so tall that the wind pressure on this structure would be brutal. Brutal. And because it's a flat sail, there is no break into it where like, wind can get around. Wind has to go above it. That inherently puts insane amount of stress into it. And it's very slim and very tall. That's really bad for your footprint strength. So you have to have either very deep pylon, good luck trying to do that in sandy systems. Again, it can be done. It's just very, very idiotically expensive. Somehow you have to do that, fit everything in that, and have 500 meters. And like, who the hell came up with this visual graphics? Is like hot air rises and cool air pulls in. Like, that's not how it works. Hot, like, at least this is the breakdown where it's like, okay, hot air rises, cool air is pulled from bottom. That's how cooling tower works. You cannot just have hot going out, cool here. That's not how it works. And not to mention, that should trigger red alerts in you, because convective cooling is not efficient enough. It's not fast enough. That's why we have to use fans. That's why your PC, even in an air-conditioned room, requires fans that are moving air through it. Otherwise, it will simply stagnate too much. And not to mention, this is built into a desert. What does that mean? That simply means the surface air that is quote unquote cool air, that's around, let's just say 40 degrees Celsius plus. And what about high altitude air? That's not that cooler. Not that cooler. And not to mention, it will be pulled from bottom, so you have to worry about bottom, not about top. And top will still would be bare minimum 38 degrees Celsius. So how the heck you're gonna, and not to mention, it's not even sealed, so how the heck you're gonna cool it? And you're like, what if it has mirrors on the side. Somehow, let's say you have gold coated mirror, that's the perfect mirror for this because gold reflects infrared perfectly. So that's awesome. Let's say somehow you have enough gold to cover this and enough, again, you do only need micrometer kind of thickness or even nanometer kind of thickness to reflect enough of it. There it's like, does not, but you have people inside it. People are heating elements, meaning I am a heating elements that are radiating around 100 watts to 200 watts of heat. Imagine millions of heaters running around that. And that's just people raw body heat. I'm not even going to talk about how many other equipments, electronics, lights, basically every watt of power that is going into this is becoming a heat. So this will become a chimney and not a good kind. So that's the line. Somehow, instead of like, this thing can absorb gigawatts of power and dissipate it because it has such a large surface area. This has nothing. And again, I'm assuming somehow you can magically make a golden mirror that can reflect 100% of infrared of the sun, which good luck with that. And somehow you can actually afford it. And then you're gonna be like, then still you have like so much energy would be consumed here that the heat of rejected heat would be just brutal. Somehow they're just gonna like, and they're gonna have like, 2-minute uninterrupted access to nature. It's not natural. It's not natural. And 5 minutes walk to all amenity, unless it's on a different block, then good luck going there. And somehow you're gonna have a train that somehow moves around 500 kilometers per hour, somehow accelerates and decelerates that quickly, somehow can actually take turns that it has to do on a straight line. It has to, like, even metro has straight line, then it has turns when it has to go into like station, platform, things of that nature. Somehow it's gonna do that at 510 kilometers per hour. Somehow. So that's the aspect of it. If you really sit down, really think about it, it does not work on a physics level, it does not work on an engineering level. It's just running on magic. For example, the biggest red alert for me was that it's going to be 100% renewable power. Here's the deal. That's awesome thing. GG, I support it. Here's the deal. Why don't you use it for your current cities? If you have the technology, you can actually, like, build solar farms, wind farms, tide power, whatever have you. Go YOLO on it, whatever have you. Why don't you remove the carbon footprint of your existing CSTs? And again, you may be like, hey, we have cheap oil. Here's the deal. You sell that oil to make your GDP. That's how Saudi Arabia is so rich. Okay, here's the deal. What if you don't consume as much of it? How about that? That means you have more to sell. That means your machines, even if you're not pumping as much oil, your machines will last longer. Your downtime will go less. Your literally running cost will go down. That's awesome. That's like GG. And not to mention your reserves, for a fact that's going to run out, not today, but tomorrow it will run out. Laying down the foundation of how to make it renewable today would be a better investment. So why you're not doing that? Why you are creating extra carbon footprint on this planet with a line and then trying to like, okay, it has no extra carbon footprint. It's like, dude, you could have literally revolutionized your whole country. Where be mindful, you, there are many places that will make India look, very futuristic. I'm not even joking. So why you're not doing that for your current city? That was the biggest red alert. And it's going to have AI surveillance 24/7. And I'm like, how the heck that's a good thing? How the heck that's a good thing that you're going to have surveillance? You're going to have camera on every level, every bathroom, every bedroom, everything. Yes, they are actually trying for that. And again, it may not actually need to have that. It just will have glasses that allows infrared observation. And there are certain glass minerals that you can use to make glasses that you can see through infrared. That's how infrared mirrors can be made. Infrared glasses for infrared cameras are made. So if you have that, then you can observe people through their window, and everybody is so close that you don't even have atmospheric shimmering that limits optical resolution. You're gonna have that, and that somehow is gonna predict everything and make your life easier. Yeah, no. China actually did that. China actually had AI surveillance. So yes, deal. Figure out how many kids are getting kidnapped in China. I'm not even joking. All that surveillance translates to nothing. Zilch, zero, shunya, nothing. They don't even care. That surveillance is only there to keep people down. And you want that in ultra omega city. Yeah, good luck finding people who want to move in. And people will be moved with the drones indoor. How? You cannot move helicopters that tightly packed, because if you try that, hope you have enough forward momentum that you keep moving away from rotor wash, because you can get trapped into it. And then, not to mention, that's why I do like Christopher Nolan, that when he was talking about the bat, because bat was going so close to the buildings, everybody's like, dude, the helicopters is not that. And he did specify that rotors are designed in such a way that it does not deal with the problem of recirculation here. Somehow you're gonna have things that are like, that enclosed space, and you're gonna have something that is as huge as a human moving around without collapsing. Good luck. Aerodynamics does not allow you to do that. Not easily, at least. And how the heck you're gonna deal with noise? Here's the deal. People living in apartments, specifically apartments that are very flimsily built, meaning they do not have enough sound insulation, they go mad. Like truly, people. And again, if you any one of you unlucky souls that have to live in there, you know for a fact that it's brutal. When you go into suburb area, like you do not miss anything. You simply like, dude, it's quiet. Like your blood pressure goes down. Imagine having people so tightly packed in that area. Just their chitter chatter will add so much noise pollution. And let's talk, not even go into drones. It's like they are doing drone marketing. It's like how drone marketing never show the drone noise. Somehow you're gonna have drones, you're gonna have moving vehicles. Just the air noise from that would be so brutal that this whole area will echo like an echo chamber, and brutal one. Not to mention, in city it can dissipate. So much air is above it, it can dissipate. It's a chimney up, it cannot dissipate. So noise alone would easily exceed 120 decibel. At that point in time, it's gonna be brutal for you. Somehow you're gonna have mirror glass facade. Somehow. Automated efficiency, 500-meter tall, somehow. Everything about this is like somehow. Somehow we're gonna cut through a freaking mountain range, somehow. Let's come to the economics. But here's the deal. If you truly want to do that, and if you have infinite budget, you can actually do it. Let's be real about it. Engineering, that's the physics, engineering, and then you have economics. Economics is the granddaddy layer, because that's the reason why Concorde failed, and why the heck Space Shuttle failed, even though these two things actually worked, but they failed. They had to be cancelled. They had to be rejected, because economics did not work out for it. So let's understand the economics part of it. It was $500 billion project. That's expensive. That makes aircraft carrier look cheap. So that's very expensive. And now the upgraded budget is around $1 trillion. Now here's the deal. That is too goddamn close to the GDP. And again, given the fact that a nation cannot deposit 100% of its GDP in one thing, that's more than what their GDP can afford. Flat out, there is no way they can dump that kind of money into one project. And there is no possible way of the city making its money back. Cities that grow over time have a culture, have an ecosystem. If you are making it, and you are not even making it logically, what does the city has to offer? And not to mention, you want to have lower taxes, you want to have more freedom so business will invest. Again, how the heck do you want to make your money back? And again, that's okay for normal cities like Malaysia and things of that nature, because they have enough normal structures, logical structure, and they let it grow over time. It's not something that grew on day one. They let it grow. You want to do everything on day one. How the heck are you gonna do that? And not to mention, they have other plants also, like Oxagon. That is like, dude, why you stupid like this? Why? Like, you want this part of city, how about you put it on land? How about that? How about you get a larger system? We're gonna have the world's largest floating city. This area will stink. Ask Dubai people when they built Palm Islands. It stinks. It literally stinks. And not to mention also sinking. And not to mention, they tried to do other things also, and that also sank. And that's why you do not say like there's supposed to be 3 islands, then supposed to be the world island, then there's supposed to be another island. They were going YOLO on it in early 2000s, and then 2008 market crash happened, and then poof, gone. And same is happening here. Here's the deal. Why the heck you have this sort of renders? Again, this is something that's going to happen in the future, but why the heck it's there? Well, it's a feedback loop, meaning the more people talk about it, the more investors think that it is something that people are going to invest money into. It's like a market study sort of scenario. The more investor pours their money into it, the better marketing campaign will be done on the second loop. Then more money will be captured by more foreign investment. And here's the that part is also shrinking. They have lowest foreign investment in 14 years. Again, like their current collapsation is like around $7 billion, drop down to around 1 billion foreign investment. Now, why the heck that's happening? Again, have you not noticed the world is going through almost a brutal recession? Like there is this Putin going hulululu on that, and not to mention Xi Jinping is also collapsing housing market. So it's a brutal environment, and somehow you're gonna do this. Like, which weed is this? Like, I want this weed, man. So question becomes why they are doing it. Again, if I'm observing this, and there are thousands of engineers, architects, all are like, dude, this is cocaine. This is raw cocaine. This is not normal thing. This is cocaine. So why the heck that's happening? Well, this is the outcome when you do not have checks and balances. You may not like your country's government inefficiency, specifically in democracy. And there's a very wise quote about this, that democracy is a bad system, but it's the least bad system that we have. Because without checks and balances, this sort of outcome is inevitable. It always happens. And not to mention, this is, I think, one natural side effect of human psychology is that the moment somebody decides to become a dictator, they somehow forgets about economics. No matter which dictator you take, no matter, oh, they became elected president, like, by rigging election, whatever have you. If you are in that sort of scenario where, you are ruling like a dictator, somehow, Apparently there is this deep DNA code that's like, self-sabotage. You will never understand economics. Like, it does not matter. Like, think of it this way. If I talk to most people now, it's like, hey, North Korea was rich. People are like, dude, are you serious? No, North Korea was like legit rich. Like, they were swimming in wealth. That kind of rich they were. Like, it's like they had so much natural resources. They were actually successful. It's like, dude, that's not true. That happened. That's the whole thing. Russia, it has so much natural resources, so much landmass, so much technology all over from USSR collapse. They should have been like, bro, me loaded, me swimming in money, me making boatload of money. Not there. Prince, same thing. And Venezuela, like again, this Venezuela has more oil reserves than Saudi Arabia. Still somehow people are starving. And let's not talk about Xi Jinping. It's like, I want GDP growth. I'm like, sir, GDP grows organically, then it can be sustained. If you brute force it, you will force people to go into what we call pyramid scheme. And the moment you have pyramid scheme, sooner or later it's going to collapse. That sounds familiar recently? Housing market crash. Sounds familiar? That's the whole thing. It's like, I want GDP. Sir, we cannot build a dam every 100 kilometers in one goddamn river. I want GDP. It's like, good luck, your river dries out. Now you have to import, like last year they imported 130 million tons of grains. I'm reasonably sure this year they might touch 200 or even 300. Or God help you if they reach 600. 600 means there is like serious failure crops happened. So this is one of those things, because there is no checks and balances. There were people who was trying to warn him, bro, stop, like think calmly, like make a circle. That's an organic thing that will grow amazingly well. Awesome things can be done there. But no, I want a line. It's like, sir, that's not how it was. Happened. I'm not even joking at this point in time. That actually happened. So this is not the first of its kind of project, nor it will be last. Also Google that. So reality is, whenever there is a dictator, people pay for it. Meaning you will like, okay, who cares? It's like, people will get job. No, because that money is extracted from somewhere else. Where it would be extracted? Generally, schooling system, roads, infrastructure, hospitals, colleges, universities. Those things lose money when that happens, and people suffer because of it. And again, Saudi Arabia literally had a scenario where they have like very young population, as in like around 20 to 23 years old. You're like, dude, they're solid, they're loaded. That's awesome age group. Yeah, they do not have job opportunities because all the money is coming from one sector. They do not have other sectors. So people always suffer whenever this sort of BS is made. Like, I'm not even joking that there were people in China like properly educated, properly dedicated to the country. They were like, dude, thou shall not build 3 gorgeous dam, it will destroy this country. They did it. And they did it again and again and again. And it's like, why the heck Yangtze River that have flowed for thousands of years literally dried up? So think of it this way. It always ends badly for everyone involved. Now, these are latest crop of dictators. And you may go elected and just no. So it always happens. It's one of the sad parts, but again, it also gives us hope that there is an inherent limitation. None of them understands economic. None of them ever become a superpower, where it's like, you know what, I'm actually self-sustaining. I can sustain. Like this guy is like suffering in 200-day war. 200-day war, while US had the luxury of surviving 20 years of war. Again, they suffered a lot, but survived for 20 years. This guy is having a hard time in 20 years. And not to mention, look at their technological outcome. Look at the people living in Russia. They don't want to be there. Here, they literally collapsed the demographic. That's how bad this dude was. And this dude, let's not even talk there. So this is the saddest part that I have to cover, where it's like so much hype and excitement. And again, that's why I want to collapse that hype and excitement. The less hype and excitement, the less investment, the quickly that system can be resolved, less bloodshed can be done. So that's awesome. That's why I'm working. So this was my presentation on this stupid idea. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.